All right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Officially, let's do it.
Mhm.
Ben, thank you for joining me on Met by Coincidence. It's good to have you. We met by coincidence, like three-ish, give or take years ago, but we haven't really spoken since. But I've seen all the work that you've been doing with the Save Your Cinema campaign. I was like, dude, that's so cool. I want to talk with him about it. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna do today, if you don't
Thank
mind.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell me a little bit more about like the story, just in case people that are listening might not know exactly everything about it? But can you tell me a little bit about the story behind the Save Your Cinema campaign?
Yeah, so I started it in March of 2021 when I found out the Cinerama Dome would not be reopening. So I just created a petition, just save the Cinerama Dome, and it quickly got like over 30,000 signatures. And then I created social media pages for it. And then in 2023, I found out that it officially wasn't reopening because like they were planning on to. So I was just waiting and providing updates. And then once I found out it officially wasn't, I got a little more aggressive and I held more like in-person events like rallies and protests. And then I changed it from Save the Cinerama Dome to just Save Your Cinema because I started talking about other movie theaters. I didn't want it to just focus on one. And now, I mean, as of today, the Cinerama Dome was announced to be reopening, and then I guess I should talk about like that. So I projected the face of the owners onto the dome because they were never responding to me or anyone for 5 years. So I just asked them to reopen it with an image of their faces, and then they didn't like that and they asked us to stop through the police. So we stopped
Yeah.
immediately, but that was our first form of communication with the owners. And then I saw that they like were viewing my LinkedIn profile and they definitely knew who I was and I saw that they were following me online. And then just a few weeks later there was a town hall public hearing for the property that it sits on because it's like at a mall and they own the whole land it sits on. And the property representative was asked about my campaign and projection, and she said that the owners took notice and extreme public interest in wanting the Cinerama Dome to reopen. And then after that, I had tweeted that we're giving them a deadline of August 20th to either reopen it or lease it to someone else,
Hmm.
another exhibitor. And then just a few months later, Sony Pictures contacted me before the general public knew about the big news of them leasing the Cinerama Dome. And then just a few days after that, my friend who's a movie theater operator in Canada, he like the past 2 or 3 years, I've been helping him like get a lease on the Bruin Theater, another historic movie theater that's in Westwood, and he just signed the lease a few days ago. So now we're working on reopening that, and right now I'm doing social media and just like studio relations, just because like there's been a lot of like movie studios that want to premiere movies there, so we're just sort of figuring out everything. We just have to like service the projectors to get them working again. We're getting some new projectors. We have to get the AC, so just like managing everything, and we hope it's gonna be open by October.
Dude, that is incredible. Like, first off, that's badass that you were leading the
Thank you.
charge. That's gotta feel like 6 years of working on it and like fighting like to get it back and get all these theaters back. That's a lot of work. And I'm sure it's a little bit of like a relief, a payoff to finally have, some closure to it. So I'm like, yes, we're doing it. We're finally getting there. So first
Yeah.
off, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
that's a big deal. Can you tell me more about like I love going to the movies. I love sitting in the theater with friends or family. I think a movie is better. It doesn't matter if it's like gonna have 2% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think a movie is just better in a theater.
Mhm.
Um, is Tell me more about why you wanted to lead the charge and bring the theaters back. Um, I assume you have the same love for movie theaters too.
Well, like with the Cinerama Dome, I guess I was just like the first person to do it because like a lot of people were just complaining about it
Mhm.
closing. So I was like, it's one of the most historic movie theaters, so we like there has to be something done. And then I guess like no one else really like was interested in like doing social media for it, or at least like posting updates about it. And then like no one knew like what was going on behind the scenes, so I was like the only person doing like public record requests and just checking for permits related to it and just talking to sources. But and then for the Bruin Theater, I think that was also just like a perfect opportunity because it was actually a follower of mine. He had followed me for like a few years, and then I followed him back, and then we were just DMing each other, and then he just mentioned like he wanted to open up a movie theater in LA, and then in 2024, I think, or 23, the Bruin and the Westwood Village Theater both shut down, and then Jason Reitman and Christopher Nolan and a bunch of other directors purchased the Village Theater, but across the street from it, I guess they weren't able to get that theater, so I just helped him get it, and he signed the lease for it, and I'm very lucky that he wanted me to help him, and we have a
Mm.
few other people like Bill and Peter who's helping us. Peter runs currently the Seal Beach Bay Theater,
Mm.
and yeah, so it's just very exciting that we get to work together, and it's not like we're a massive corporation or billionaires or whatever. We're just like, I guess it's just gonna be an independent movie theater.
Yeah. That's so cool, dude. Like that's huge. I mean, yeah, it's so much easier to complain about something than to figure it
Yeah.
out, right? And you were like,
Mhm.
"No, I think we could figure it out," which is really
Mhm.
cool. Tell me about like your start as a filmmaker. Is like what brought you into the film world, and would you say prepared you to take something like this on?
Well, I guess I've been making movies since I was like 8 years old, and then I've made like just like I guess like more and more and like more like on a higher budget, I guess, with each one. And I think they definitely relate, just like staying organized and yeah, and then I mean eventually hopefully I mean I'm starting to combine like my career with the Savior Cinema. So like if I have a movie that's playing this weekend at the Lumiere Cinema,
Mm.
so like I'll post about that on Savior Cinema, and yeah, um but I think they're definitely related. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see it, and yeah, you're so right. The organization it takes to put the movie together is it's crazy. So I can only imagine how many things you had to keep organized with the whole campaign to keep the motion, the momentum going.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Can we talk more about like what is the process like for someone to be um, pushing and protesting to save the theaters for that long? Like, what were there any points where you felt like maybe we should just give up? It doesn't matter, or did you were
I
you
mean,
strong
definitely,
throughout?
yeah. There were like a lot of like industry people who told me to give up, especially since the
Mm,
owners didn't email me back or call me back or even like call other famous people back because other like obvious. I know Quentin Tarantino wanted to buy the, or lease the theater, but he said like something along the lines that the owners weren't interested, and then I also spoke to other people who tried to lease it or buy it and they didn't get a response.
mm,
So a lot of people said like it's just going to be another demolition by neglect. And also too cuz like the
mm.
property owners, they own another historic movie palace on Hollywood Boulevard, and that's been abandoned for I think 30 years. So yeah.
Yeah, dang. So there were big voices that were like, "Nah, don't worry, just forget about it, move on."
Yeah,
But you were like, "No, I'm gonna keep going," which is super
exactly. Yeah.
inspiring.
Mhm.
What would you say was like the key aspect of keeping that like momentum going? What drove you despite all these people saying give up?
Well, the company still had a building permit to renovate it, and
Mm,
they just extended it every 6 months. every 6 months blaming it on COVID, which was
Mm,
strange because it was like 5 years after COVID, and they just
yeah.
were still blaming COVID. And
Yeah.
then what was the other one? And they still had a certificate of occupancy for the building, so that means it's still safe for people to enter. And then there's just like some sources, I guess, who were telling me that it was gonna eventually reopen, but I could never like confirm that part. And yeah, that's about it. And then also like
Yeah.
since it sits in a mall, they had opened the Blue Note Jazz
Mm.
Club, and then the Jazz Club claimed that the movie theater was going to be reopening. So it was just like kind of like one person says this, so it was like yeah,
Yeah, well, it's in a mall, so I'm just glad they didn't turn into a Spirit Halloween. That would have been
yeah,
terrible, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
But yeah, dude, I mean, there was so many things you probably just were. Yeah, there were so many things that could have been like, no, just shut it down, and people, and but those little things like, no, there's still a little bit of hope. I see it in the woodwork.
yeah.
Keeps it going. What would you say if somebody listening is like, maybe not trying to save a cinema, but they're trying to protest something, or they believe in something that needs a voice or needs someone to carry, kind of the momentum? What would you say to that person if they're losing a little bit of hope?
Definitely just like post about it on social media and make it go viral
Mm-hmm.
and find like the most important aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the power of social media is crazy. Um, just the way we can get stuff out in the world. What was that like? Was it when you first started the social media, like posts and everything, was there traction, or did it take a while for people to get on board?
Um, it it got a lot of traction pretty fast. Like, because I know it got to like at least 20,000 signatures in less than 24 hours, and
Dang.
then yeah, and then the social media page quickly got to like 3,000 followers and stayed like that from like 2021 to 2024. And then as I
Mhm.
got more aggressive and put more time and effort into it, I would get like maybe 1,000 new followers per month or something, or like something like that, because now I'm like up to like 12,000 followers, and that was only a year ago I had 4,000. So I think
Wow.
definitely as I put more time and effort, um, yeah.
That's awesome. And talking about the protesting itself, like what gave you the idea to do the projector onto the, because I saw the videos and I saw the photos of the event, but what gave you the idea to do the projector of their faces onto the building?
Um, I just always had it in my mind for a few years. Because I knew that I was kind of saving that as like the last thing I could do.
Hmm.
Um, because I knew it was definitely gonna cause like controversy, which it did, and drama. But yeah, so I kind of saved that because like also I think it was like the property representative said something in like June of 2024 saying that the theater is going to reopen soon, and then in June 2025 she had another meeting and said the same exact thing and had the same exact PowerPoint.
Hmm.
So I was like, it's been 12 months and you're still saying the same thing. So I got kind of frustrated, and then yeah.
Yeah, you're like, light it up. let's
Yeah.
let's put it up. That's all.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the projector? That's a big projector.
I did a GoFundMe and I hired like a professional projection mapping engineer, and
Oh,
he brought
cool.
like four projectors, and then they all synced up to each other.
That's awesome. You had like an
Yeah,
Ocean's 11 thing. You had to get a crew together. Like,
yeah,
let's find our team. That's awesome.
yeah.
Wow. And so now that things are coming together, they're going to reopen not just the ArcLight, but other theaters too. Are there any other things in the future that you think you want to be part of in terms of like leading change in other aspects of Hollywood?
Definitely, I would love to have maybe like some sort of executive position in like a movie theater company or a studio. But
Hmm.
I mean, at this point, I'm just kind of busy with the Bruin Theater. But hopefully, we
Hmm.
can make the Bruin Theater like one of the highest grossing theaters in LA, which I think we should be able to, because like I think we'll be able to get like New Beverly and Vista theater numbers. I know that like the first week of the Odyssey release, the highest grossing 70 millimeter location was the Village, which is right across the street. So I think we can definitely like be pretty big, and we already have a lot of famous people interested in like speaking and screening their movies. We've had like very like famous people want to premiere their movies, which makes sense because it's like one of the most historic theaters. So I think we should
Mhm.
do pretty well. And I know the owner of it, who I'm friends with, wants to get more theaters in the future. So we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it seems like everyone's really excited about it. Like I saw that you got to go to the Spider-Man brand new day premiere,
Yeah.
and you got to talk. Who did you get to talk to when you were there about the whole thing?
Uh, I spoke to Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, the directors of
Mm,
like Project Hail Mary and the Lego Movie, and I spoke with them about it. And they also own the Village Theater across the street. And then I spoke with Denis Villeneuve and who else did I speak with? I feel like there's more. Oh, and I got to meet the Sony Pictures president, and that was cool. Yeah,
yeah, those are huge names. That's awesome,
yeah.
dude. And were they excited? Were they like, yeah, that's all right? Were like, like, what was their reaction?
Yeah, they were really excited. I know Tom Rothman, who's the president of Sony, is super excited about the Cinerama Dome. He just did an interview with Variety and said it's like the Eiffel Tower of movie theaters.
Mm,
And yeah, I know all of like Sony is super excited about it, and Sony owns Alamo, and Alamo is also excited about it.
yeah. That's awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for like all your hard work and everyone you've been working with uh, to make that happen. Because again, like I love going to movie theater, and I remember when I first moved out to LA around 6 years ago. I remember going to the ArcLight Theater with my family, um, and it was such a cool experience. And so to be able to maybe get to go back soon, it's really cool. It's really inspiring, and so thank you for doing all that
Oh,
work.
of
That's
course,
awesome,
yeah.
dude. Absolutely. We can get into more about like you as a filmmaker now if you want. We could talk a
Hmm.
little bit about that. I watched now. If I say it wrong, correct me. But I
Oh, that's
watched
okay. Yeah,
Is it
Hikikimori.
Hickey?
Yeah,
Hickey? Yes.
yeah.
What I thought it was really cool. I'll give the log line for everyone listening. It's Sam hasn't left his bedroom in 8 years, and he's assigned a mannequin and given 1 week to find a romantic partner or face execution. Is this based off a true story or no?
No, but
Okay, cool.
it's inspired by the movie. It's like inspired like movies like Lars and the Real Girl, The
Hmm.
Lobster, Harold and Maude. So it's just like inspired by all of those types of movies and like ideas I've had. And hopefully, I mean, I'm sure eventually I'll be able to make it into a feature film because I wasn't able to do everything I wanted with the short film. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched it recently. It was cool because one, Steve is in it who plays the dad,
Hmm.
and Steve's cool. I worked with him on a couple of things, and so I was like, "Oh, Steve!" But yeah, it was such a cool. And I literally was thinking about the lobster as I was
Oh
watching it. I
yeah.
was like, "This is such a like, what are we watching? Let's figure it out as we're watching it," kind of thing. And I also loved like the what camera did you use? Because was that film or was it like what
It
camera was that? Because that
was
looked really nice.
Ari Alexa, so it's
Oh,
digital.
cool. Okay,
Hmm.
because yeah, it just like it looked like soft. It was like a baby blanket, and I was like, this is
Hmm.
nice. But what made you want to have the film take place? Was it 1997? Is that correct date, or was that
It was supposed to be like ambiguous, but I know the prop or the thing we used said 1997, so I guess
yeah?
it's not necessarily 1997. It could have just been
Okay.
like a used thing.
Hmm. But it was like yeah, like the technology people were using was kind of like could be any age. It could be like a
Yeah.
millennial that really likes using old technology. It could be back then when
Hmm.
they were using it. Um,
Yeah.
what kind of like brought you to that script? What made you want to write it?
Just like the log line, I thought was funny, and
Hmm.
yeah, just like it being a dark comedy, but I think it would be really interesting as a feature film, and
Hmm.
I just need to like get it written because I have so many ideas in my head about it.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm glad I made it as a short film. So if I ever like want to like raise money or just show someone what my idea would be like, I have that just as like a visual and like very minor plot and just
Hmm.
like the tone of it. But yeah, I was very lucky. I got to shoot like on an amazing camera, and it was like 4 days of filming, and we somehow got all these amazing locations. So I was very lucky. Uh, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I really like the story of it too. I love the quirky movies like that, that like are in their own bubbles of worlds that like maybe you don't typically get to see every day,
Hmm.
like The Lobster, and Lars and the Real Girl. Yeah, it's such a wild role for Ryan Gosling to do now that he's like the cool
Yeah.
scientist guy in Project Hail Mary, and like he's like
Hmm.
used to be the guy that was dating a mannequin. So it's like
Hmm.
talk about a career, but that's awesome. Like the word itself. Can you say it one more time? 'Cause I keep saying it wrong.
Hikiki Yeah, that's
Yeah,
also another. Just the idea of it, I've been thinking about it a lot.
yeah. Because isn't it mean? It's something. It's like to be isolated,
Yeah, it's
or
like a trend in
yeah.
Japan that I was reading about, like a new trend where people just don't leave their homes like for years. So
Oh
yeah,
dang, I do that. Yeah, I do that.
yeah,
They did that. They did that over COVID a little bit, but there was
yeah.
that. Is that like a? How long has that been a thing? Is it like a age old thing? Is it
I think it's like a
newer?
2020s thing. Pretty
Okay,
new.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, and so it's sort of like what, yeah, just the idea of it kind of being funny that somebody would like have to learn how to do everything on a mannequin. Is that kind of like,
Yeah.
or yeah, yeah, yeah? It's sort of the like the quirky comedies of like, most of the time, like in film, I'll usually be cast as the kid that like doesn't know how to talk to the girl or like doesn't
Mhm.
know how to ride a bike or order a beer. So there is something funny about like watching a film about somebody that's like, I don't know how to do any of this. So
Mhm.
yeah, do you think like in the future, do you think you're going to lean more into comedy or more into drama?
Um, Hopefully both.
Mm-hmm.
My new short film Ventura Boulevard is, I guess, also like half and half. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's something I don't really think about, but I guess at the end of the day, it's just 50% drama and 50% comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pull them in with the comedy, and then they'll stick around for the drama.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's awesome. Is there a filmmaker or a movie, would you say, that like inspired you and your creative lens?
Hmm. Not like one specific movie, but I think it depends on like the movies. But like I mentioned, like the ones for Hikiki and then
Mm-hmm.
like my other film before that, Cindy's Diner, mainly like David Lynch and like I'm thinking of ending things,
Mm-hmm.
and more. I guess that one was more like surreal science
Mm-hmm.
fiction, and then my new one, Ventura Boulevard, I guess is like maybe like more inspired by like the Royal Tenenbaums and uh Boogie Nights,
Mm.
and yeah, more like 1970s.
Nice. Yeah, I also watched Cindy's Diner and it was cool. I love the part where like you're starting to figure out that he's not mentally okay, like he got in an accident or something to that effect, and like when the mask, like the medical mask is on him suddenly in the middle of the diner, I was like, "Ooh, this is cool." I just
Yeah,
love
that was
all the
also
that was
inspired by
cool.
like Tenet,
Yeah.
if you saw that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself doing more features in the future, or do you kind of like staying in the short film world?
I mean, I would probably want to try at least making one feature film and seeing how it
Mhm.
goes, just to say I made one. Like, it'd be
Mhm.
cool. But
Yeah.
I mean, making a short film is easier, but writing a feature film, I guess, is easier just because you can do more.
Mhm.
But I'm fine with either of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I totally agree. The short film, it's like, hey, we could do this in a day, and then anyone that's like, could we do a feature film in a day? You're like, oh, okay, so you've never made a movie before. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a crazy difference. So I think it's I think it's natural for people to be like, okay, well, I did this short film, now I have to do a feature. It's like, no, you can stay in the short film, you can learn, you can stay there.
Hmm.
Yeah, no need to rush.
Yeah.
So do you because you've had a few roles where you're also an actor, uh
Hmm.
do you prefer being in front or behind the camera?
Um, I think it depends. Like,
Mm,
if I'm like with the right crew or like someone else is, I guess, funding the production, then
mhm,
I prefer being behind. But if it's like if I'm putting like my own money or like I'm risking something like because I'm like running low on time at like
mhm,
a special location, then that's more stressful. But
mhm,
I mean, luckily, like when I've acted, it's been on like major, not like major, but like it's been on like professional
mhm,
sets, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Shining Vale. So I mean, I was still stressed, but like I knew I wasn't like it wasn't on me, if that
mhm.
makes sense. Like other
Yeah,
people are responsible.
yeah. And what kind, yeah, like what kinds of things help take off that pressure when you were on a big set like that? Because with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you were playing, it was a young
Young
Jake,
Jake,
or
yeah.
yeah. What kind of things would you do on set? Because it's intense. Everyone's doing their work and their job, and they're like, we're here to work. What kinds of things do you do to kind of like decompress and chill out a little bit?
Um, well, I guess in the case of like Shining Veil, uh, I just like didn't check my phone and just kind of stayed
Mm-hmm.
focused. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, just kind of stay in the moment versus thinking about like scrolling through and seeing all these things that are gonna make me go like, oh, I'm thinking about this now, thinking about this now. Yeah, just
yeah,
turn off your phone. Yeah,
hmm,
that was a good call. That's awesome. Yeah, I know for me, like sometimes when I'm on set, I can get pretty distracted, and yeah, just kind of being present and thinking about, like, I just enjoy being here, just be present here. It's gonna make things
hmm,
a lot smoother than the thinking about the what ifs of all
yeah,
that could go wrong. So
yeah.
that's awesome. Is there like a dream filmmaker or creative person that you'd want to work with one day?
I mean, like not anyone specific, just because I feel like there's a lot of them and they're all equal.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm happy to work with like any like filmmaker, I guess at this point, like any of
Mm-hmm.
them, and then yeah,
Yeah, you're just kind of open to any connection. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Um, Getting into a little bit more of like more open-ended and deeper questions, I wanted to ask, um, as a filmmaker, this is sort of tied into that world. um, as a filmmaker, as a human being, as anything, what's been one of your greatest teachers? It doesn't have to be like an actual teacher from school, it can be, but also just in life, what has taught you a lot?
Well, definitely like actually making a movie. Like I learn a lot by just doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, just by doing stuff instead of like thinking about it or reading about it. So just like
Mm-hmm.
making the movie and working with other people and learning like who to like work with and who not to work with, and like how important it is like to pick a cinematographer or like a assistant director or production designer that you get along well with. And yeah,
Yeah. And it takes a lot of time too, and it's like, I wish film was cheaper, because a lot of the mistakes and learning lessons we make on film sometimes can be expensive.
yeah,
But yeah, um yeah, it's just a yeah, more expensive art form. So it's beautiful art, but it can be expensive when a mistake is made. So
yeah.
but yeah, you just got to do it. You just got to make that film, make the mistakes, and then move on from it. So
Hmm.
that's good. um when does time feel fast for you? Like something that you love doing that you lose track of time completely.
Well, I guess if I'm like watching a good movie or TV
Mm,
show, I guess that is hard to tell like the time, I guess.
mm-hmm.
And I mean that's about it for me. I'm pretty good at knowing like
Yeah,
time.
yeah, you're pretty locked in on that. Yeah, I do. When you get
Yeah.
locked into a show or movie, yeah, and it just like it goes by so fast. Yeah, I felt that like with the Odyssey, like people were talking about like, oh, it's 3 hours, you're gonna be able to do it. You're like, I don't know, with my Snapchat, Vine, TikTok brain, I don't know if I can. But then I was engaged the whole time, and yeah,
Hmm.
it did not feel like 3 hours to me. Did it feel like 3 hours to you?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
nah,
yeah, fast.
yeah. And I bet how many hours of footage did they say they filmed of it? It was like
I'm not sure
something
of the
crazy,
footage, but I
right?
know like how much like film. Yeah, I think it was like over 1 million feet of film.
1 million feet. That
Yeah.
that's insane. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being the guy that's like, because wasn't it only one like certain location was able to process all that film or something? Or am I
Um,
wrong with that?
Probably at least two, maybe one,
Mm,
but
mm-hmm.
maybe one actually.
Yeah. Imagine being the guy that's like in charge of sorting that much film. That's
Yeah.
gotta be insane. Yeah, I would not want to be that guy. You imagine you're like, hey, sorry, we only lost like 50 feet of footage. It's still like, who knows what that was. It's
Yeah.
still, that'd be insane. What is a part of your life that you would love to make a movie about someday?
Well, definitely like the Savior Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of people want to make documentaries about it, but I kind of held off because I'd rather just make it myself. And
Yeah.
then I would love to see someone make a movie about it too. A lot of people said like it sounded like it was a movie itself, just because like the plot was so crazy. But yeah, but I'd love to see a movie on that, and maybe like more documentaries on like just like abandoned movie palaces and who owns
Mm.
them, and uh like I guess like YouTube or like video essays, I guess. But I mean that's essentially just a documentary, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who would you want to play you in the film? Could be anybody.
I have no idea, but I don't know, maybe Tom Holland or Benny
Yeah,
Safdie.
that'd be cool. Oh yeah, Benny Safdie. Yeah, that'd be nice. Who would you want to
Yeah.
direct it?
I mean, I would be fine with anyone, but like I would love
Yeah.
to see like Josh or Benny Safdie direct it,
Mm-hmm.
and
So it'd be
or
stressful as hell.
yeah,
It's just people running around.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Would you rather it be a movie or a documentary? Like if you got to pick.
I would say both. They're both. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like if it was a feature film, like maybe they'd have to add some stuff,
Mm.
but I don't know. It'd be fun to see it as like a scripted movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think it
Yeah.
could happen one day. It's definitely got the potential. It's an inspiring story, but it's also uh people love seeing movies about Hollywood, so I think it'd be cool. Let's see, where can people watch your films? They're on YouTube, correct?
They're on YouTube. Benjamin Steinberg on YouTube, and then I have a Vimeo page, but I don't
Mm,
really use that. I'm not even sure if it's still on, but it should be like vimeo.com/Benjamin Steinberg. And then I have a website now that's in my Instagram bio. So if you go on Instagram to the real Ben Steinberg, that's like in my bio, the link to my new website. And then you can follow at Savior Cinema on X, and then at Savior Cinema underscore on Instagram, and then yeah.
awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me about this, and again, thank you for all the hard work you put into saving the cinemas, and I'm super
Mhm.
excited to see where it all goes, where you go, and kind of hopefully the hope that's been kind of infused back into Hollywood because of this. So
Yeah.
thank you,
Thank you
man.
so much for having me.